All right, Young Turks in the house, the man himself, Cenk Uygur. Great to see you, sir.
Great to see you, Krystal.
So you guys have had a very strong presence here in Miami. What have you been up to?
Yeah, a little too strong. So we did a rally last night, and it was the biggest one here, and then the right wing came, and it was fun.
Nice. What did the right wing do?
Oh, it turns out they don't like me. Breaking news. But we actually taught de-escalation. We brought in Kai Newkirk, who led Democracy Spring. That was the biggest civil disobedience to get money out of politics. And so it went great. And so Anna Kasparian, my co-host, spoke. Adam Green from PCCC spoke. And then Marianne Williamson came by. Bernie Sanders came by and said hi to people. He didn't speak, but Marianne spoke. And tonight we got Andrew Yang. We got Tulsi Gabbard coming to speak. So all my progressives are in the house.
How was Marianne received? What do people think of her?
Great. She's a wonderful progressive. She has like two different sides, the spiritual side and the political side. And her political side is as progressive as you could hope to be. And we have this pledge. It's a progressive economic pledge, top 5 issues, Medicare for all, Green New Deal, higher wages, ending the corruption, and college for all. And we're asking everybody to sign it, by the way, tyt.com/pledge, because the more people that sign it, saying, hey, that's all these voters who are saying, I'm going to vote for someone who signed this, and I'm not going to vote for the person who didn't. That's okay. You know, if you're John Delaney and he's really clear about it and he goes, no, I don't agree with those things, God bless your heart. I actually really do appreciate the honesty. But people who signed it are saying, my vote depends on this because this is the stuff I believe. And Marianne was the very first presidential candidate to sign it.
Huh. I mean, speaking of John Delaney, and we can get into the debate last night and a little bit of what we expect from tonight, but I mean, I completely disagree with the guy, right? Mm-hmm. I think he is wrong. But I respect the fact that he really stands his ground. He is educated, he knows what he's talking about, and he makes the case for that centrist position as a principled position better than anyone else that I thought was on the stage.
I totally agree. I actually really respect John Delaney, and because he's not hiding the ball.
Right.
So these revolution rallies that we're doing, we did one in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and we brought, again, the most amount of people. Kamala Harris, Warren, et cetera, had maybe 100 people there. We had about 250 people there. And John Delaney just comes out and says, hey, this is what I'm for, and this is what I'm not for. And you like it, great. You don't like it, no problem. And you have an intellectual conversation with him. I've had some of the best interviews and conversations with Congressman Delaney. On the other hand, some of the more standard politicians, they literally run away.
Right.
Just, what do you stand for? It's not that complicated. Like Andrew Yang will tell you 1,000 things he stands for. Right?
Yeah, right.
And so that's why people appreciate Warren and Sanders and Yang and these people, Marianne, et cetera. For the people running away, you might as well put a sign around your neck saying, I am standard politician.
Yeah, I think that's really true. So what did you think of last night? Who did you think did the best? Who had a breakout moment? What was your analysis?
Yeah, look, I thought it was clearly in 3 buckets. There was the people who did not do well. Leading the pack was Beto O'Rourke in that category. And so he looked nervous. He didn't seem to know what he was saying. You almost felt bad for him. Beto, what are you doing? You should have run for Senate. What are you doing? So, and look, I don't think it went well for Tim Ryan. And yeah, I like John Delaney as a person. I don't like his policies, but I don't see his lane. He's like, I'm a centrist, and I want to work with Republicans. I'm like, Joe Biden's got that covered.
Got that.
Yeah. So in terms of the guys in the middle, like Inslee's for the environment, and he just said, I'm for the environment, right? And, and Castro's great on immigration, et cetera. Gabbard's good on anti-war. The people who did really well were Elizabeth Warren, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, she was phenomenal.
Yeah, when she started saying the word that almost no politician has said in my lifetime in America, corruption,
yeah.
I almost stood up and cheered. About time. It's taken 40 years for a Democrat to say, damn it, it's the corruption. It's the corruption. And so de Blasio killed it. He drove the mainstream media crazy, which I love. Claire McCaskill afterwards was tearing her hair out de Blasio, right? So mission accomplished, nicely done.
It was funny to me because I watched some of the coverage afterwards, and I was like, what debate did you all watch? Because she and Nicole Wallace were both like, oh, de Blasio was terrible, and we loved Amy Klobuchar, and was like, what?
Klobuchar! I mean, seriously, look, I get it. I disagree with Nicole Wallace and Claire McCaskill. Nicole Wallace is a Republican. Claire McCaskill desperately wants to be a Republican.
Right.
So they're not going to like the progressives. And I'm not going to agree with Klobuchar. But look, just do straight objective political analysis for a second. Where is Klobuchar's lane?
Right.
How is she different than Biden? And how is she different than Delaney? I mean, there's 12 people in the race that are identical to Klobuchar.
Right.
And how could they look at her going, hey, I'm kind of in the middle, and go, nailed it? Right?
Yeah. I kind of feel like, if you are a person who's looking for a more establishment, more centrist lane, you're pretty happy with Biden, right? He's giving you fundamentally what you want. He's saying, let's work with the Republicans. That fits with your view. Let's not change anything, right? Let's kind of like a little bit of incrementalism. If you want a real progressive, you've got people who are into Bernie, people who are into Warren, people who are looking at both. And even though you had someone like Julian Castro, I thought had a very good night and caught some attention, I don't know that really fundamentally changes those dynamics.
So you've got the progressive wing, Sanders, Warren, de Blasio. Then you've got the people that are halfway, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Gillibrand, et cetera. They've said all the progressive things, Medicare for All, Green New Deal. Progressives wonder if they really mean it, right? So, but that's an interesting category. Then you've got the status quo wing, led by status quo Joe. So that's Biden. And then you've got the abyss. And once you get past Joe Biden, why are you in the race?
Yeah.
If you're also for the status quo and the leader of the pack is sitting at 30 points as status quo Joe, well, then you got no lane at all. And you just, and part of what they're doing, Krystal, is they're vying for other positions.
Right.
So Castro's clearly vying for a cabinet position, right? Obviously having to do with immigration. Inslee could take EPA. Tim Ryan might be going for labor. In fact, I asked him last night, would you take labor secretary? And he said yes.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah, he said, look, I want to win, gave a couple of caveats, but bottom line was he said yes. So understand part of the game that's being played here is some of these folks aren't running for president. They're running for other positions like cabinet.
I mean, another thing I always am interested to get your take on is you really have your finger on the pulse of the online grassroots. Like, which of these candidates, when you post something about them, like their people are there, they're going crazy, they're sharing everything they can get about this person?
Yeah. Well, classic is, of course, Bernie Sanders. That never changes, right? So the Bernie folks are always out there, and they're online, and they're real, and they're huge. But now you got the Yang gang. So Andrew Yang's followers are super real, and they're excited. And so I should add that category. The fourth category is outsiders.
Yeah.
And so Andrew Yang leads in that category. Marianne Williamson has her very, very devoted followers, but it's a subset. Whereas Yang is kind of electrified people from different walks of life and politics.
And I feel like Marianne's has this following, but it's not necessarily as much of an online following. Like Yang's following is extremely online.
100% right. Marianne in the streets has unbelievable following. Some women see Marianne Williamson and they go nuts. Oh my God, she's like a deity to them. Which is great, but it's not as online. You're right. Andrews is way more online. Tulsi has a niche audience online that's very animated, okay, but I think it's still more of a niche. And now growing every day is Elizabeth Warren fans.
Yeah. All right, so what do you think is going to happen tonight? What are you looking for? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think the dynamic's going to be between the two big dogs, Biden and Bernie?
Yeah. Well, I think Biden's going to get exposed. I think he's one of the weakest candidates out there. And he is 20 years too late with his brand of politics.
Yeah.
And so the only reason why he's in the lead right now is because people don't know what he stands for. They just know him as, Obama, Biden, and, good times. But all you got to do is scratch the surface, and he's in a world of trouble. I mean, the other day he was begging a Republican billionaire for donations, and then the guy publicly rejected him. Oh, that's so embarrassing. We're not going to have the Democratic nominee do things like that.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that he holds the lead. I'm a progressive, so I hope Bernie's aggressive and goes after him and points things like that out. Because what sometimes even good politicians don't realize is that the whole country doesn't know what you know.
Right.
We all know Biden is going to work for the donors. He said it. He went to another donor event and said, I promise you that nothing will fundamentally change. That's why I call him status quo Joe. But Bernie and Warren, et cetera, have to realize that 98% of Americans don't know that yet.
Right.
You got to tell them.
You got to point it out.
Yeah.
All right. Very interesting. Have fun today.
All right. Thank you. You too. I love this stuff.
I know. It is like, I kind of can't believe that it's actually here, because we've been projecting it forward, but now we're actually here. We're getting to hear from the candidates. And I thought it was very substantive last night. So
yeah,
absolutely. Hear what they have to say today.
Yeah, and today they call it the group of death because that's the hardest group.
Yeah.
And don't forget Kamala Harris.
That's right.
I'm very interested to see what kind of lane she's going to take.
And if Mayor Pete holds up under pressure.
Oh, that's right. And Mayor Pete's reeling a little bit, and he might do well in a town hall where his more cerebral but vague answers sound pleasant. But if anybody challenges him, does he pull a Beto and melt?
Does he get vetoed?
Yeah, and so we'll see. And Kamala's partly got to go after Mayor Pete because he's taken some of her points, and this is her time to assert herself. And we're going to find out if she's a tough prosecutor or not.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Cenk.
Thank you.